All right, welcome to 2025. And if you're a freelancer that wants to use Upwork to win more work this year, here are four things you can do to earn more money on Upwork in 2025. Let's start with the biggest one, the one that's going to have the most impact on your success or failure on Upwork, and that's going to be your mindset. There are just way too many people online and elsewhere. You're going to see all in the comments, you're going to see people complaining and whining about Upwork, whining about how it's a race to the bottom. All of the Upwork myths that we've heard a million times before, you're going to see that sentiment. And if you can be one of the freelancers that ignores all of that and has an abundance, success oriented mindset, and you actually believe that success is possible, you actually believe that you can earn a good income on Upwork, you're going to have huge success compared to your competition.
Now, personally, I am so guilty of thinking that having a mindset, having a positive mindset is just fluffy. Like it's not tactical, it's not concrete. And it wasn't until I actually went through some rough patches in my business that I realized, oh, wow, having an abundant mindset can actually have a significant difference on just how I view my business and the bottom line and how much revenue I'm bringing in for my business. So, it's really, really hard to change your mindset from scarcity to abundance, but we are telling you it can mean the biggest difference for your business.
Yeah, it's really kind of up to you to choose A or B in terms of the mindset you want to have. You can either be a victim of the external world, you can be a victim of the economy, you can be a victim of the algorithm, you can blame all kinds of different things for why you're not having success on Upwork, or you can decide to be the type of person that kind of shapes the world to your will through your actions that you're going to take, through the disciplined routines that you're going to create for yourself. You're going to become the type of person that makes stuff happen and you don't make excuses for why things don't pan out. So, you've probably heard this sort of thing before from other online gurus out there, but you hear it a lot because it actually works and it actually does make a difference. You need to be the type of person that just makes shit happen. And that's really all there is to it. If something isn't working, you're going to go out there and you're going to find the solution for it. You're going to experiment. You're going to just keep experimenting with new ideas, new techniques, and you're going to experiment until you start seeing results. That's the kind of mindset you need to have to win on Upwork because you need to get the reps in and it's a long game. This isn't something that's going to change overnight for you. You need to be the type of person that just continues to try new things over and over and over again until things work because that's how success actually happens in freelancing.
And the fact of the matter is, stuff is going to happen out of your control. And so you have to keep pushing forward. You have to want it bad enough. You have to just keep trying, take a step back every once in a while, kind of reevaluate what you've currently been doing, get feedback, get coaching, get advice, and just keep pushing forward.
And lean into the fact that the main dominant sort of mindset out there is negativity, is a scarcity mindset. So if your competition is more scarce than you are, you have an advantage. So just look at all those negative minded comments that you'll see out there, all those jaded comments that you'll see on social media, and use that as fuel to be the opposite of that. If most people are going to be negative about Upwork, you're going to be positive. You're going to see the potential of Upwork. You're going to see the fact that there are high end clients and low end clients, and you're only going to go for the high end clients. And you know that if you work on your profile and you work on your proposals and you work on your portfolio long enough, you will see results. You will attract high value clients to you, and you will have Upwork be an amazing tool for you in 2025.
So, number two is tracking your data. 2025 is going to be the year that you obsess over your data. A lot of freelancers will come to conclusions based on inaccurate data. So, this is going to be the year where you are very meticulous about each and every data point so that you can make informed, data driven decisions. So, we're talking how many proposals are you sending out at a time? We're talking how many clients have viewed those proposals? How many clients have sent you a message? How many discovery calls are you getting on? And then how many clients are you landing? Just start by tracking that data in a simple spreadsheet, and then you can start to understand where you're seeing success and where there are obvious areas of improvement. So it's kind of like looking at it like a marketing funnel. If only X% of clients are looking at your proposals, then there's only going to be so many clients that you're going to end up booking discovery calls with. So just being really, really clear and diligent with tracking the data.
Yeah, I think this is where a lot of freelancers go wrong, especially when they're new to a platform like Upwork. They come in, they're super excited, and they send, 10 or 15 proposals. They don't get any responses, and then they start drawing conclusions where there are no conclusions to be drawn because they just don't have enough data to make informed decisions. So, what you need to do is you need to get really good at looking at everything that you can and looking at all your numbers. How many invites per month are you getting? How many invites per week are you getting? If you tweak your profile photo before and after, what did your stats look like before you made changes? And what do they look like after you made your changes? So, one of our beta testers in our coaching program is actually amazing at this. So, one of the first things he showed us was a Google spreadsheet that he created that showed all of his numbers. How many proposals is he sending out? How many people are responding to his proposals? How many people are actually viewing his proposals? How many invites is he getting on a weekly and monthly basis? And that was actually something that we learned from him was that, we probably should be this granular with our stats. We should be tracking this stuff to that level of detail because if we are going to give him advice on how to change and tweak his profile, he needs to be able to see before and after our advice. Is it working or do we need to tweak further? So having those numbers is super critical to have. And that's something that we're going to be implementing in our workflow on Upwork.
The nice thing about tracking your stats, tracking your data really diligently is that it can give you some extra peace of mind and to help you kind of map out a formula. So you can start to figure out, okay, great, my conversion rate, my close rate is like 5%. So that means I need to send out X number of proposals in order to get X number of clients. So it's just a numbers game and it can kind of take away the emotional attachment when it comes to sending proposals and it can just help you have more success on Upwork.
And then one last thing I'll say on the data side of things is that you need a lot of data before you start making conclusions. So just because you've sent out 10 proposals and you keep that data in a spreadsheet and maybe you only heard back from one client, that's not enough data to start drawing conclusions. You need, 40 to 50 proposals sent before you can really start looking at that data and seeing what your response rate is. And you need to also tie that into making sure that the proposals that you're sending are all super qualified and really targeted to the right clients. So you want to make sure you have quality data going into your system as well.
So if you come to us and you have your hands up and you're like, I'm done with Upwork, I've given up, well, we're going to ask, show us the data, like show us the numbers. So at least we can help you and try to identify where you can improve to see more success from Upwork.
Okay, and the third thing you're going to do in 2025 to have more success on Upwork is you're going to fully commit to being a specialist, not a generalist. Now, if you need a way to remember this, always remember the term the riches are in the niches or niches, but that doesn't rhyme. So,
Over the past 5 years, the freelancing industry has just continued to evolve and expand. And the only way for you to stand out in a really saturated market is to niche down and choose a specialization. So, we believe it's crucial to find a specialization because that's how you're going to stand out amongst the competition.
yeah, I mean, the gig economy, the side hustle economy, the freelancing market in general has only expanded and accelerated that expansion over the last 5, 10 years. And that's only going to accelerate into 2025. And so, what that means is that as more and more people experiment with freelancing and more people join sites like Upwork and more people get a side hustle, that's just going to increase the volume of freelancers that you have to compete with. And so your only real option is to become a specialist and get away from being a generalist. You can't just be a generalist photographer anymore. You cannot be a generalist social media manager anymore. You need to be someone that specializes in something specific because that way you actually come across as an expert and not just someone that is a commodity that can be easily replaced by someone who charges less money than you. So it's all about running away from the commoditization that happens to all markets as they mature. So Freelancing is a market that is maturing. More and more people are coming into it, trying to get a piece of that pie. And the only way to succeed into the future is by being super specialized.
So that leads perfectly into our fourth recommendation, which is to build a personal brand. So clients are going to Google you, whether you like it or not. They are going to type in your name and they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to see what comes up. And so that's why it's so important to have a LinkedIn profile, to have social media profiles, to even have a YouTube channel to build up that social proof, that credibility, so that when they're Googling you, they're vetting you, it checks the boxes and there's no red flags, because that can be a major turnoff if maybe you have some inappropriate pictures online that don't represent you in the best possible light. So cleaning up your personal brand and then leveraging it, because you are unique, you're a specialist, and when they see that you have a personal brand, then they're more inclined to reach out to work with you.
Yeah, I think this ties right back into the running away from the commoditization of markets. If you're just a 2D dimensional image on a website and you offer a generic service, you are a commodity. But the more things that you can do to sort of expand your personality, to expand your personal brand, to kind of humanize yourself, to round yourself out into this real human being that they can actually experience, the less of a commodity you will appear as, and the more of a human being that you'll actually come across as. So that's why we say you should always have a profile video, a super well made profile video where you're talking to the camera, you're friendly, you're approachable. The quality of your video is amazing, and they can actually get a sense for who you are. That is the name of the game going into the future. People need to know who you are, what's your vibe like, and you can't just be a 2D image on a website anymore. You need to be a real human being. And that's why you need to lean into your online brand. You should be posting on LinkedIn or posting anywhere. Just be out there, put yourself out there, and you'll come across as a real person. And people work with real people.
I cannot tell you how many times I've had leads tell me that they decided to reach out to me because of my video content. So, obviously, I have a nice, very professional profile video. I also have a YouTube channel, and so many clients have decided to work with me because they watch my content and they already build that like emotional connection. They can see who I am, they can see my vibe, they can see my expertise that I share in these videos. So that has pushed them over the edge to work with me. So I cannot recommend enough creating content, specifically a YouTube channel. I think that's a huge asset and something to strive for in 2025.
Yeah. So basically, what we're trying to say is that a lot of times your social proof, your online brand is going to be what separates you or what puts you over the top compared to your competition. So, you might have very similar skills to someone else on Upwork. You might have very similar portfolio. You might have similar amounts of reviews and earnings. But that social proof, that online brand could be what puts you over the top. It could be that tiebreaker for you. So you need to have it going into 2025.
And from like a personal development perspective, especially when it comes to video content, I have learned so many new skills from having a YouTube channel that is so relevant and just adds to my skill sets to make me even more of a valuable asset to any sort of team, any sort of like client project where they decide to bring me on. So, yes, building a personal brand, having a YouTube channel is a bit of extra work, but in my experience, it has paid dividends because potential clients can see that I'm an expert in my field. They can connect with me, they can see what I talk about, they can understand the value that I provide. And so that has helped me differentiate myself in the marketing space, showcasing myself as a thought leader in this space. So it is 1000% worth it. I could not recommend having a YouTube channel enough.
All right. So to recap, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure your mindset is rock solid, you're positive and you're abundance minded. And then number two, you're going to make sure you track your stats. You're going to become obsessed about tracking your stats. And number three, you're going to be a specialist. You're going to commit to being specialized and you're going to run away from being a generalist. You're going to run away from the commoditization of your industry by being specialized. And then number four, you're going to focus on actually building and enhancing your online personal brand, which can be what separates you from your competition.
And then when it comes to content, we are super open to taking your suggestions. So if there's any specific topics you would like us to create video content on, feel free to leave a comment and we will see you in the next one.